Howdy folks, Keywii here, and welcome back to Suzerain, a safe space in which to be awesome, where we're, of course, dealing with the backlash of fucking so much shit all the time. Every fucking time I do anything, it's just terrible. But let's start with the news reports. Former VP steps back from public life. Former Vice President Peter Vektorn has not been seen in public in months. Since his affair with the Rumburgian spy was made public, President Rayne quickly outs the VP from his party once the affair was discovered and replaced him with the new VP. Vektorn reportedly left Wholesword for a change of scenery following the scandal, but those still close to the former VP claim they have not been able to reach him. Oh, that's not good. Ooh, that's in fact sending a few red flags, not gonna lie. Not even Voxlandian fire can stop us. The industrial city of Conrad is officially completed. The city is expected to soon rival Lockhaven due to the newly diversified and expanded manufacturing industry. The mayor of Conrad, Chris Shar, expressed his utmost gratitude for the investment the president put into the city. In his statement, the president had made an excellent choice in investing in the city that had stood the test of time. People of Conrad are hardworking and resilient. Not even Voxlandian fire can stop us from being great. With the new factories, Conrad will single-handedly bring Sordland out of the recession. The mayor has decided to host a horse race, and only locally bred Sordland horses to celebrate the grand opening ceremony. Harsher than Saul's security package. In an unprecedented move, the Assembly has passed the Security Act into law with the signature of President Rayne. This marks the harshest security laws this country has seen, surpassing those of even Souls. Yes, these are unusual times and the country is discontent, but isn't this going too far? The package was supported by the National Front and condemned by the PFJP deputy Manole Suhail from the passing of the draconian measures. With the passing, nobody in this country is safe from police brutality anymore. The Rayne administration marks an era of increased uncertainty and instability. There are massive demands for de-escalation, not escalation. I'm fucking aware, and I'm sorry. I know. Storage debt crisis, credit downgrade. The credit rating of Sordland has been downgraded after a massive report of government deficit has surfaced from the Ministry of Economy. Foreign ratings agencies have said that investors who buy government bonds with high interest rates are not likely to see a profitable return on their investment. The widening government budget and the borrowing, which is leading Sordland into a debt spiral it might not get out of, concerning an analyst about the future of this economy. The reduction from B- to D-? Jesus! Not even like D- to C+, look full on 2 grades. Will also reduce the chance of attracting foreign investors who seek to invest in the Sordland and the government. Security Act threatens economy. I'm fucking aware of all these things. I'm sorry. Things are bad, okay? After the passage of the Security Act, the economic future of the country is less certain than ever. Foreign investors are shying away from Sordland and investing in countries like Agnolia and Kairoot. Understandably, that security measures were necessary, but such an increase of authority will hurt this country's economy. Yeah, it will. USP conservatives try to obstruct administration. Sources from within the Grand National Assembly have informed us that the conservative wing of the USP seem to be intentionally obstructing President Rayne's agenda. From failing to attend committee meetings to delaying bills that the president had attempted to push through, Gloria Tory and her fellow conservatives have no apparent motive other than blocking Rayne at every turn. Tory and the president are known to have clashed over the letter's constitutional reforms. Could this have prompted her vindictive attitude? Election campaign ramps up across Sordland. Oh, that's going to go poorly based on my recent actions. The election campaigning efforts have started to pick up speed across Sordland to become the 5th president of Sordland. The candidates began delivering their speeches at rallies and conventions while the party flags were flying in major cities. The campaign centers are busy with scheduling and organizing events. The exciting times of election are approaching. In the majority of cities, USP appears to be the most prominent, whereas PFJP follows behind along with NFP. It will be thrilling to see the presidential race anew once again for the fast-approaching elections. Ladies' bill struck down. Families in Sordland can breathe easier as the controversial Women's Liberation Act proposed by the Ministry of Education Ciara Walda with the blessing of First Lady Monica Rayne completely failed to pass. This bill would have upended Sordish traditional values by forcing undue burdens on women in the name of equality. Was supported by the president but struck down in the assembly, showing Anton Rayne who wears the trousers in this government. Goody. Alright, Human Dignity Bill. Let's not fuck this one up. Okay, let's see here. The newly proposed bill will amend... I wish I knew what that word meant specifically. Section 3 of the 1923 Legal Transactions Act that allowed the legalization of transactions which occur in non-registered businesses and other entities like single persons. If the parties delivered accurate documentation to the financial authority, this created legal loophole for prostitution. The Human Dignity Bill will protect common decency and prevent the moral principles that occur. Will prevent the violation of moral principles that occur in the act of prostitution by making it illegal offense in which perpetrators are punishable by law. -1 government judge. Well, that's the deciding factor. Doesn't matter what I think of people or anything, we unfortunately cannot sign this. We just don't have the money. Honestly though, let's see here. The Human Dignity Bill will protect common decency and prevent the violation of moral principles that occur in the act of prostitution by making it a legal offense, which the perpetrators are punishable by law. The wording is odd, but it makes it sound as if they're punishing the prostitutes and not the people, paying for it, which also sounds bad. So yeah, definitely vetoing this one. Can't afford it anyway. Ooh, we're on turn 9. Alright. I vetoed the Human Dignity Bill. So that doesn't sound good. Radical. Protect Sordish sex workers. President Rayne has vetoed the Human Dignity Bill. This bill would have seen sex work become an illegal offense and punishable by law. Sex workers already face high levels of discrimination. The world's oldest profession will always exist, but supporting sex workers with laws helps protect the health, safety, civil, and human rights of sex workers. Thankfully, the government has made the right call, vetoed this bigoted bill. Well, I literally couldn't afford not to. Discussion on the current internal affairs. Interesting. Well, let's get a move on. The storm on the horizon outside my window. And a storm of a different kind was brewing inside my office. I straightened myself on the sofa and looked at Carl. He was sitting on the couch across from me, ready to give me a report about an incident. I just learned that a policeman was gunned down an entire crowd. Oh, goody. We stared at each other, not knowing how to react. A muscle in his jaw twitched. Sir, I know you wanted to establish talks with them, but these people do not understand diplomacy. But the police? Our men did their best to show restraint, but 6 officers were killed yesterday in Benfey. 6 does not make a crowd. These are not innocent citizens anymore, Mr. President. They are killers, and so one of our boys had a reaction. I won't defend his action, but will not let him be thrown under the bus either. Hundreds of rioters surrounded them. Sir, there was a risk of lynching. He was authorized to carry a submachine gun, and he used it. Lord said, how the hell did you let this happen? How many are we talking about, Carl? How did you establish talks with them, not shoot the entire crowd down? Fuck you, Carl. I'm sorry, sir, it was outside of my control. Can you ever do your job properly? Let's not ponder over too much. We can't reverse time. I want everyone responsible to be tried. Genocidal freaks. What kind of police force is this? I mean, I sort of agree with that, but I'm kind of feeling, be a little slightly more reasonable and less accusational. Of course, sir. We are already dismissed from duty. I know there is no excuse for it, sir, but I will make sure nothing like this ever happens again. You said that after Circus's murder, too. Good, then get to work immediately. We need to clean up this mess. I suggest you start packing up your things. You're fired, Carl. This is your last chance, Carl. Do I give him another chance? Yeah, no, I don't believe killing a crowd and therefore escalating things further is any good. I suggest you start packing up your things. Sir? I said you were fired. Go pack up your office. You are dismissed. You heard me. Now get out of my face. He stood up immediately and left the room without saying a word. Oh, God, the fucking everything. Hang on. State figures. Carl Grazer. Swords police officer administrator who was former Greater Holsword police chief. He assumed the position in 1950 and was sworn in by Mayor Lilius Graff in a public ceremony. Prior to his appointment to this position, he served as the chief of police of Arvery in the 40s. Smith from his position as chief in 1957. 1957 dismissed Grazer from his position as chief. Alright, let's take a look at the country overview. Military. Unruly generals. Our generals seem to be ignoring weekly reports and are resisting our commands. That fucking sucks. What now, Estard? Read the report. Rumberg plane warned inside airspace. A lone Rumbergian airplane violated our airspace by entering the territory of Sordland for 2 minutes and left after issuing a radio message. Interesting. Okay, Hearst third post. Protesters' response to diplomacy. 6 officers KIA. The government's attempt to hold talks with the leaders of the increasingly violent protests has been responded with killing of 6 police officers. It is clear that the people on the streets are aiming to destabilize our country and society if they can't even sit at the table and end this violence. After being outnumbered and attacked, the police had no choice but to strike back, resulting in the death of 18 militants disguised as protesters. We are borderline getting into territory of anarchy at this point, and anarchy can never be allowed. The government will do whatever it takes to destroy the one who threatens our country and end the threat to our society. Economics. Richmond Standard rates Sordland D-. Ventry City, Arcasia, 9:11 a.m. The Richmond Standard, one of the most prestigious credit rating agencies in the world, has officially decided to downgrade the rating of Sordland from B- to D-. While warning of further reductions if the government borrowing isn't reduced drastically in the next year. The warning has led many investors in Swordish government bonds to panic and hold their upcoming purchases for the next 5-year bonds. Goody. The military and economy and the central bank. The Ministry of Economy and the central bank quickly urged calm and highlighted efforts to maintain stability. The market did not recover, however, and the question of raising interest rates significantly on 5- and 10-year government bonds is now becoming a reality. Sordland finds itself between a rock and a hard place. Sure wish I didn't fuck up the economy like I said I wouldn't do. Vogsland blockades Helgeland. According to reports coming from Helgeland, the island is under complete blockade by the Vogslandian Navy. 6 ships that transported goods to the island are forced to retreat when the Vogslandian fleet fired at them. It seems Chancellor Hegel decided to send troops into Helgeland and seize control of the island. But why does Helgeland matter to Vogsland? Located in the middle of the Marchian Sea, Helgeland has strong historical and cultural ties with Vogsland. It was Vogslandian territory before it was annexed by Agnolia years ago. Oh, it was actually annexed. And one of the pretexts of this upcoming invasion by Vogsland has been to defend its citizens in Helgeland. But Helgeland's strategic importance goes a lot further. The port of Helgeport, home of the Marchian Sea Fleet, is vital to Vogsland power in the Marchian Sea and beyond. Of course, there is also a large group of Volgish living in Helgeland who see the island as part of Vogsland. The Vogslandian nationalists have always been vocal about seeing the island as an integral part of their country. Very interesting. Okay, what now? Oh, fuck these taxes! Alright, Fair Luxury Tax Act. What do we got going on here? The Assembly proposed an amendment to Section +2 government budget. Hey! The process as an amendment to tax code seeks to improve the fairness of the taxation system and increase tax revenues. Section 1 sets a 15% tax rate which will be imposed on items of the luxury goods class determined by the Ministry of Economy. This encompasses jewelry, furs, sports cars, yachts, private planes. Section 2 of the amendment will establish a 10% estate tax for the conditions of purchase, sale, and transfer of property, in particular in inheritance situations. That sounds fucking awesome. We're about to make a lot of money signing this. Sign it into law. Okay, what do we got going on economy-wise? Oh, it isn't on the right side. Okay, well. Journal says on turn 9, I fired Carl Grazer. My attempts to begin talks with protesters result in more violence. I signed the Fair Luxury Tax Act into law. Luxury is now taxable. The Assembly has signed an amendment known as the Fair Luxury Tax Act. This bold choice seeks to impose a tax hike on personal items, including jewelry, coats, and cars. Believing the necessary products or loving gifts are all considered luxury products, it is hard reality we're facing under the Rayne administration, as they are determined to steal your hard-earned money out from under you. We need it for the economy. Alcohol Tax Act. We probably get some money from this. But get +1 government. The GNA proposes an ATA to socially deter the excessive amount of alcohol consumption that has arisen in the general populace and to increase tax revenues. Section 1 will impose a 20% tax on the sale of all alcohol products sold in the country. Section 2 makes legal alcohol production that is destined for export exempt from taxation. Section 3 establishes a 25% import tax on foreign alcohol products, which come from countries that have no trade regulations imposed on these types of goods. Alright, so this is probably going to piss off a lot of people, because the way I read it, it came across as, all the alcohol made here, for people here, and alcohol is huge. All the alcohol is, taxed, it's, specifically for here. But not, foreign people. No. They can have our alcohol free of limitations and money, but we have to pay more. That's how people are going to read this. Anyway, we need the government budget. That is just fact. That is just factual fact. Welfare. Alcohol consumption reduced. Hey, that's very good. We'll sort post. Rayne to put a lid on alcohol consumption. The Grand National Assembly signed the Alcohol Tax Act to deter the excessive amount of alcohol consumption that has recently been plaguing Sordland. Drunk and disorderly youths will quickly learn that their actions have consequences, and they will soon be paying a further 20% tax on all alcohol products in the country. Oh, we're back up to -1. Oh, that feels so good. Emergency call on the escalating situation. Ooh, we have to not do that. I was woken up in the middle of the night by a call from the Ministry of Defense. Due to the sensitivity of the information, I had to be urgently briefed in person. I put on clothes as fast as I could. I rushed downstairs and opened the door. Sarge was waiting for me. Mr. President, the car... this way to the car, please. We got into the car and made our way to the Ministry of Defense building without a word. I arrived and was directed downstairs. I came to a set of large doors and quickly read the sign above them. The sign read War Room. The dimly lit room was filled with cutting-edge equipment, the latest video screens, long-range radio electronics, and other devices used for communication, presentation, and planning. The centerpiece of the room was a large round table with the coat of arms of Sordland engraved on it. David, Lucian, Vulcan, and Losef were already deep in discussion. Mr. Lancia, I advised caution. Going to war wouldn't help anyone. We must maintain peace in Sordland and Eastern Mercopa at all costs. What do you expect us to do? Sit down and do nothing? They're testing us. We must respond immediately. Otherwise, they will think we are weak. We must respond immediately to what exactly? Status report now. Mr. President, thank you for coming in at this late hour. There's a situation. Vulcan, please go ahead and provide your report. Mr. President, approximately 20 minutes ago, Roomberg downed one of our planes with anti-aircraft fire from the ground. The pilot was declared KIA. The last recorded position of the plane was inside Sordish airspace. General Kruger, I mean no offense, but we are absolutely sure that this is the case. What do you do? Foreign Affairs. Are you sure this happened within our borders? No offense taken. Here are the locations on the map and the report from the airbase. He pointed to several markers on the map. To answer your question, yes, we are absolutely sure. You can see here on the map that the plane was down to approximately 10 kilometers inside our borders. We have calculated the trajectory of the gunfire, and they started firing when our plane was within our border. The plane was down near Helgen. It's terrible. What should we do? How dare they? It's an attack against our sovereignty. We need to be cautious. War with Rumberg is the last thing we want right now. I completely agree. It looks like they are trying to lure us into their trap. We have enough military power to contest against this violation of international law. We should attack and down one of their planes in retaliation. Oh, escalation. That sounds fucking fantastic. Otherwise, we will look weak, and it will lead to more casualties. We can't look weak. If we appear weak, they will jump on the opportunity. We must order a military retaliation immediately. I agree with the General. Mr. President, our army is ready to do whatever it takes to protect Sordland. I don't want to start a fucking war. Gentlemen, before it comes to that point, we can prevent further bloodshed by using diplomacy. The room fell silent before Losef finally spoke up. Mr. President, what are your orders? Start the Swordfish war machine and prepare to invade Rumberg. Fuck off. An eye for an eye will retaliate. We will approach this diplomatically and try to de-escalate the situation by any means. No one, and I repeat, no one wants war. Lucian's tensed-up shoulders relaxed. Thank you, sir. I will immediately begin working on it. With Mr. Whiskey's capabilities, I'm sure that we will de-escalate the situation successfully. We will keep you updated on our progress. We should have retaliated. I hope the diplomatic response makes sure that further incidents like this are prevented. Yeah, no. See, here is the outcome in two doors. First door, we de-escalate the situation. Whiskey talks to Rumberg and things turn out to calm down. I don't know if things will be peaceful or whatever, but definitely calm down to the point where they aren't doing shit to us anymore. Door two is they see our attempts at diplomacy as weakness and attack us, in which case, well, we tried the diplomacy thing, so, you know. If there is a next time, I'm afraid it will be war. We are showing weakness. Of course it will be war the next time around. I'm frankly disappointed, Mr. President. If we can't even retaliate after such an attack, what will become of this country in the future? Peace must be maintained at all costs. I'm saying this as a man who has seen too many years of war. We are not the ones that are attacking the peace. Regardless, it looks like the decision has been made, Mr. President. I know when I am not needed. I will take my leave. Before he left the room, he saluted. Well, now that we know the way forward, I have an idea, Mr. President. I think we should hold a military parade to display our strength. I'm with Mr. Lancey on this one, actually. This should work well as a deterrent, and it will come in handy as a tool to de-escalate the situation. That is a good idea. Simple and effective without causing any ruckus. That makes sense. Organize the military parade. No, we will create a peaceful image for Sordland. Well, we can't do that. We absolutely can't. Not only do we not want to look weak to the enemy, but also the fucking people in the country need to calm down. Having a parade will be like, oh, okay, we still have strength. We're still united. Blah, 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 all that stuff. Understood. That is all, Mr. President. I will keep you updated on the situation. For now, have a good night's sleep. You will need it. I couldn't sleep at all that night. Not with David Whiskey's face looking at me. Sordfish plane shot down. A Sordfish airplane has been shot down by Rumbergian anti-aircraft guns, allegedly for violating Rumbergian airspace. Government officials said the airplane was shot inside the airspace of Sordland. Our plane was shot down when it was flying near Helgen over the territory of Sordland by an anti-aircraft missile. Our pilot did not threaten Rumberg in any way, said Losef Lancia, the Minister of Defense. Despite the revealed evidence from Sordfish officials, the Queen of Rumberg, Beatrice Livingston, had the guts to claim that our plane was shot for violating their airspace. This is truly a heinous act purposely done by our rivals in the north. This tragic event will have severe consequences for Sordland-Rumberg relations. Urgent meeting of potential alliances. Okay, well, we got about 6 minutes left. Let's take this quick. I was sitting across from David in the White Room after he scheduled an urgent meeting. I knew that the matter must have been serious. He insisted on waiting for Losef and Lucian, so we did. Lucian entered the room with Losef by his side. Mr. President, we came as fast as we could. Mr. President, Mr. Whiskey. What is going on? David cleared his throat. Welcome, everyone. Due to the political ramifications, I wanted everyone to be present for this meeting. We have received an envoy from Arcasia. They're requesting a state visit. Arcasia. Right, America. Judging from the current climate, it's not hard to see that what this is about. ATO is always trying to expand its influence after all. They will most likely try to convince us to join. In addition, as part of this state visit, Dwight Walker will, of course, want to meet you in person, Mr. President. About time I want to meet him as well. There's a lot we could gain from this visit. As much as I share their ideals, we need to be wary. As much as I share their ideals, well, I don't share their ideals. I want an independence. There's a lot we could gain from this visit. It's about time I wanted to meet with him as well. With all due respect, are you out of your mind? Mr. Lancia. Watch your tone, Losef. I'm just saying that we cannot even consider accepting this. I bet he will come asking for us for cooperation under the guise of enforcing their demands to join ATO. This will antagonize half the world against us, and we are going to be at the forefront of the battle. If you are approaching this from the perspective of national defense, then don't. We're in better shape than we were ever before. I assure you we don't need any outside help, definitely not from Dwight Walker. We will make do somehow. Let's see what he wants first. I will decide when I talk to him. I trust your judgment and our troops. I want to take the least amount of risks for Sordland. Let's see what he wants first. I will decide when I talk to him. Though I already have decided. I trust your judgment and our troops. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Walker never gives anything for free. There will be some concessions for sure. Mr. Whiskey, you are the most experienced former foreign policy expert. What's your take on this? What do you think is the right action? Rumberg is bound to increase diplomatic pressure in the upcoming AN meeting. Back channels are reporting rumors about Queen Beatrice Livingston meeting with the military leaders from Thornburg. I'm afraid it might not be possible to stand against Rumberg without strong allies. Soon we will have to take a side in the global rivalry to avert a political conflict with Rumberg. And I recently found out of a planned meeting between the Queen and Chairman Melaniev of the United Contana. The ATO and President Walker might be necessary evil to stop worse things from happening. I say we should consider this offer very seriously. Lucian, what do you think? Very well. Accept their offer. I don't involve ourselves with superpowers. Decline their offer. Lucian, what do you think? I'm definitely leaning on the decline side, but God, would it be helpful. We hold our experts. You are the one who has to decide, sir. I don't want to involve ourselves with superpowers. Decline their offer. I will send our response immediately. Sordland stands alone in the world. No friends but swords. Hell yeah, achievement time. Hang on. I need to look at that. Have no alliances. Ooh, okay. I think that is all for today. Thank you all for attending. As we dispersed, the world map hanging on the wall in the room caught my attention. I walked over to it. How often were the lines on the world map redrawn over the recent decades? What about the future? That was quicker than I expected. Okay. Order. Reduce crime. Hey, that's nice. Our police forces lack the necessary power to prevent tragic crimes due to their limited power. However, some suspected individuals that violate certain criteria have been apprehended, reducing a portion of crime nationwide. That's better than nothing. Call with Evelyn Vectorn. Okay, well, that's next episode. I'm not excited for that, especially since it's her calling and not Paterp. I'm getting severe red flags, and I'm not excited. So that'll have to be for this one. We will see what happens with Pater and Evelyn in the next episode. Evelyn, right? Yeah, Evelyn. That'll have to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've, of course, been Keywii. You've been great to yourself with a delightful day. And I love each and every one of you. Goodbye. Sorry, stumbled on that one.